Story. Once upon a time, there were these two young guys. They came out of nowhere and they said that they were going to take the British wrestling scene by storm. They said that they were going to be the future, not just of British wrestling, but of wrestling as a whole. Now those guys came out of nowhere and they dominated the scene. They main evented every show up and down the country for months on end, having some of the best matches ever seen over here on British soil. These two guys were unstoppable. They were the British Tag Team Champions. Their time came to an end and they went their separate ways. One guy carried on wrestling throughout Britain. He carried on having technical masterclasses with some of the top names to come from England. The other guy, on the other hand, wrestled extensively throughout Europe. He went to Japan, he was on TV and pay-per-view. He came back from Japan and he went to America where he was on TV and pay-per-view once again. He came back and main evented all the shows in England once again. Now, IPW matchmakers decided to get these two guys who had gone their separate ways back together to promote them once again as an unstoppable team. Now, IPW matchmakers, for whatever reason, seem to have this idea that by putting them back together once again they'd be unstoppable. But what they failed to remember was the fact that Haskins had gone on to bigger and better things. He was fighting off guys who had come from abroad. He was fighting off some of the top talent in the world and he was beating them. To the point where I am undefeated in Sittingbourne in singles competition and have been since November 2009. Joel, on the other hand, called on my help to accomplish the one goal that he'd seemingly set out for himself when we went our separate ways, and that was beating up our fat manager, which we got rid of years ago. Now, people keep asking why it was that I turned my back on Joel Redman, and it's simple. By myself, I'm unstoppable. With him, we can't even win a single match. I mean, come on, Joel. If you want to carry on and just be a fan of being mediocre, then go ahead. But don't drag me down with you. You see, at this stage of the game, mediocrity can no longer be allowed to fly. So, Redman, if IPW matchmakers wouldn't listen to me when I said I didn't want to team with you, then how? They sure listened to me after I kicked you in the nuts, kicked you in the face, and then spat on you. And on April 28th, you will realise that as good as you are not the calibre of athlete such as myself. I am the star attraction, Mark Haskins.
The following contest is a singles grudge match and it is set for 1 fall. Introducing to the ring first.
This is my main man, Mark Haskins.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is a TNA Impact Wrestling superstar. He is a former British Cruiserweight Champion, a former British Tag Team Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the star attraction, Mark Haskins.
Now let me start by saying that you cannot fail to admire and respect and be in awe of both of these two men. They are incredible wrestlers. That withstanding, the way that Mark Haskins conducted himself in his betrayal of Joel Redman is an affront to the honour of professional wrestling. And surely you as a wrestler, Andy Boy Simmons, agree with that?
Absolutely not. Mark Haskins did what he had to do. You can say it was a betrayal, but Mark Haskins understands he's been going all over the world for well over 2 or 3 years now, and Joel Redman's doing nothing but holding him back.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing his opponent.
Oh, here we go, Joel Redman.
Ladies and gentlemen, alongside his opponent tonight, he was also
and a man with a point to prove here. A man who was struck by the lowest of low blows, courtesy of Mark Haskins. This is a match between best friends, but better enemies.
You say that Joel Redman has a point to prove. I think Joel Redman has come out here with zero confidence. He didn't come out here shouting and screaming and looking for the fan support like he normally does. Joel Redman walked to the ring very sombre, and it looked like he's a bit worried, to be honest, because he knows that Mark Haskins is the better man.
That's focus. That is focus. He had eyes only for a victory over Mark Haskins. He was simply running through his game plan, running through the last moments of an opportunity to strategize. This is a man who has
prepared. This is a man.
No. This means so much to him. This means so much to him.
Trust
Right.
me, this will mean more to Mark Haskins. He'll put Joel Redman dead in the ground like he belongs. Just his wrestling career.
Right, let's run through it in numbers very quickly. Mark Haskins, 5'10", 180 pounds. Joel Redman, 6'1", 240. Should Redman look to use his height and slight weight advantage in this, or is that?
I'm sure he will. But Mark Haskins just will beat him with the experience.
So for those of you who are unaware of the background between these two, the Thrillers, what a successful tag team. Holders of the IPW UK British Tag Team Championship, a tremendous team, and what a lovely Greco-Roman style takedown there from Redman.
Look at Mark Haskins, he's all over him. Being taught in the dojos of Japan, he's been taught in the impact zone of TNA. Mark Haskins will take him to school.
And it's fair to say there that marginally first blood to Haskins, who wrestled really neatly out of that exchange there. But a good takedown to begin by Redman there. As they stand face to face, go in, attempt for a collar and elbow, but Haskins read that nicely, now works on the elbow, turning that round, putting the pressure there on the wrist of Joel Redman. Redman rolling out of that really nicely, and gets the wrist of Mark Haskins, who's forced down to one knee, Andy.
See, this always confuses me with Redman. A guy, he's a big man, he's a strong man, by any country standards of professional wrestling, but he always likes to take it to the mat. You don't wrestle a guy like that, who's about 40 pounds lighter than you, and therefore can wiggle out of anything.
Well, time will tell if that turns out to be a mistake, but your point proven rather nicely there. Oh, but not nicely there. And this is the other thing, is these two know each other so well. They know each other's style, they know each other's moves, they have trained and worked together for so long.
Absolutely. And this is why Mark Haskins, I will not go through this enough. Mark Haskins, he has beaten the best, he's wrestled the best, and Joel Redman is not even close to being the best of British.
Okay, so why is it then that rumour has it that Joel Redman could very well be on his way soon to the WWE in America? Now that indicates the potential of this man, surely. You can't argue with that.
5 years ago, there was rumours I was going to the WWE, and unfortunately for me, nothing came of those.
Now you're
rumours.
sat here next to me. It's tragic what happens in life, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, tell me about it. But back to Joel, if those rumours are true, good for him. Well done, congratulations, Joel. Let's see what you do out there. If you can't beat Mark Haskins, how are you expected to beat the guys, who are making the millions of dollars?
You are right in the sense that it is all about this match and all about the here and now as the side headlock is applied, but Haskins uses the ropes to his advantage. Redman just leaned nicely into that shoulder block there, and that's using his height and weight advantage. That's more of what you said you wanted to see, Andy.
Absolutely.
Haskins caught spinebuster. Now he's adjusted his game plan and it's working well. 2 count, but only a 2 count. And Redman frustrated.
This might work better for him. But Mark Haskins, he's a sneaky one. There we go.
Haskins there just seemed to have a little bit of trouble putting his weight onto his knee, and yes indeed he's been caught there by Redman. What an overhead belly to belly. If Haskins can't put his weight on his knee, how's he going to hit that star kick, that beautiful crescent kick of his?
The star kick, it's all about the star kick. He can hit the star kick out of anywhere, but Mark Haskins has so many other fantastic moves. Like Joel Redman just better not get too cocky.
Yeah, you're right.
On everything.
You're right about that. You're right that Haskins is. Oh, you cannot guard against him, as demonstrated there by that knee to the face. Very nicely done. Through the ropes he goes. Redman just about managed to deflect much of that there. Nice. Just managed to catch hold of him just a little bit. And Haskins actually is reveling in that, but I think Redman managed to use his experience to get. Oh, he didn't use any experience there. You can't use your experience to avoid a corner post to the face hurting. As our referee Chris Roberts counts. The count is at 3, but only 3. There's still time for them to get back into the ring.
I was looking forward to this ramp coming into play, actually. I thought that the wrestlers would be taking advantage of this. So hopefully Mark Haskins will use this opportunity to hurt Joel and ruin any chance he has of going to America.
Do you think that Haskins has the advantage because Redman was embarrassed by that low blow? Do you think Haskins had the advantage because Redman was shamed?
Psychological advantage, absolutely. Joel Redman never saw that coming.
Abdominal stretch, but he couldn't get it locked. He gets back into the ring. And now that was so clever from Haskins. Redman's got to move fast. The count reaches 9. It's going to be 10, but Redman just in on 9 3/4. My goodness me, he moved fast there.
Haskins is so smart. What a smart way. He knows that Mark Haskins, he's got big things lined up as well. He can't be doing with Joel Redman, who he knows he's angry at Mark.
What a tremendous 90-degree rotation at the last second of that knee drop to strike it right across the trachea there of Joel Redman. And you're right about the intelligence of Haskins. Whether you like him, whether you hate him, he's very, very clever and he's very, very good.
He is. Absolutely. But this crowd is so pro-Redman. So pro-Redman.
What can you blame them? Can you blame them after the way Haskins behaved with such a lack of integrity?
To me, he was using his brains. It's exactly what Andy Boy Simmons would have done. And Andy Boy Simmons has done. And what Andy Boy Simmons will certainly do again.
The British wrestling crowd, the British wrestling fans, knowledgeable as they are, reward integrity, they reward honour. And they do not reward Mark Haskins for that behaviour. Nonetheless, the 3 count is all that matters.
I remember the day Mark Haskins announced he was signing with TNA. This crowd were all over him. They loved him. They saw him as the second coming of Jesus Christ himself.
As the cover is made, sorry to interrupt you there, but 2 count.
Oh no, I'm getting used to you interrupting me. And they absolutely worship the man, but the moment he does one little thing to further his career, that one little step further, they turn on him. This is so typical of British crowds. I don't blame Haskins for going to the States.
Now Haskins here attempting actually really to use Redman's own weight against him as he leans back there. He's got that applied. Haskins has to watch out he doesn't effectively pin himself in a situation like this, which is why he's rotated that onto his side. And Redman is fighting successfully out of that as referee Chris Roberts leans in his characteristically assiduous manner to check that is not an illegal move or that Redman doesn't lapse into unconsciousness. Surely the only way this feud can be put to bed is by a clean win in the centre of the ring by one of these 2 men. That count out, or that near count out earlier on there, would not have gone far enough to satisfy Joel Redman and Mark Haskins. This has to end with one of these guys being carried out of this arena.
That's what I'd say. I'd certainly like to see Joel Redman carried out of this arena.
And they're both on their feet, just about around 6 or 7 there. Redman blocks it, European uppercut right across the clavicle there, the collarbone of Haskins.
And then
it's good to know some medical terminology. I don't know anything after all about being in the ring. That's your racket there, isn't it, Andy?
Well, that was a knee to the face. That was a drop kick. Okay, drop kick to the face. As lovely and pretty as it is,
just about manages to kick out there.
Just about. Mark Haskins knows exactly where he is. He's a ring general. He's ring aware. He's got ring presence. He's got everything going for him. Joel's just a lump of muscles.
The thing is, we're arguing essentially about what was once 2 sides of the same coin. We're arguing about people that were so close, that lived together, that trained together. And Mark Haskins unable to live with the force of that there from the top there, Joel Redman.
It's funny because I know these guys so well. Both these guys from the very first day both started training. And I remember when they lived together. Mark Haskins would tell me what a pain in the backside Joel Redman was to live with. He never did the washing up. He never did the dishwasher. He never did the washing. Mark Haskins is just literally just venting frustration right now. And for Joel Redman to try and once again ride his coattails, I think Mark Haskins is just, as I said, venting frustration.
And what do you suppose Mark Haskins has to say about you then, behind your back?
Mark Haskins say about me? Mark Haskins knows me as the guy who used to talk to him on AOL and be like, oh, excuse me, sir, I want to be a wrestler. This is absolutely true. And I told Mark Haskins where to go train. And I remember when Mark Haskins first turned up. So me and Mark Haskins are very good pals. So don't start anything like that.
Well, he's going to need every ounce of his training now as Joel Redman clambers to the top. He takes time to steady himself. Haskins doesn't seem to know where Redman is. Redman just takes his time, but Haskins was playing there. Haskins knew exactly what he was doing, and he catches him with a 3/4 face-lock bulldog, goes in for the cover, chance, 1, 2, 3, no! Inches,
Thought that was
fractions of seconds, so did I.
Watch this one, this will be the finish,
Oh, Redman fell so heavily, and the kick concusses Joel Redman, rattles in the jaw. It's 3, but it's so much resilience from Joel Redman. You have to hand it to Joel Redman. That is resilience. Whatever you may think of Mark Haskins, that, Andy, is resilience.
Yeah, well, good for Joel Redman. Joel Redman's been training hard on a treadmill. Mark Haskins has been out there wrestling the best, beating the best.
And what about that disrespectful slaps there across the back of the head and then to the face and then the forearms, and then Joel Redman pushing back, and Haskins may well look surprised as the backhand chop strike, and Joel Redman is immobile. And that's what you call a backhand chop. That echoed around the arena. We felt that.
I think Haskins may well have overstepped the boundary slightly now.
You're right. You're absolutely right. What a huge back body drop from Joel Redman.
Joel's on fire, but this could well still be his downfall.
Using every one of his 240 pounds, the man from Exeter lifts his opponent up, but Haskins working his way. That's brilliant! Hang on a second! Extraordinary there from Haskins. Extraordinary.
Lovely,
Haskins
lovely.
ducking underneath, back to his feet, connecting with the knee there. That painkiller goes for the cover, doesn't quite get it.
I'm enjoying the action this evening.
I cannot believe that escape from the powerbomb into the roll-up there, into that pinning situation. I've never seen that before.
Oh, I've seen it plenty of times. I think, in fact,
You probably taught him it, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Haskins there. Now, this is it. He's setting up here for what we're going to see. Attempting there perhaps for a shining apprentice of sorts, but a German suplex. Holds on. 1, no. Working out of it, attempting to lift him up for a second. Joel Redman struggling there to lift Haskins, but does so. That one so much more powerful than the first. So close there. I thought that was going to be the end of it. A chance for a third one perhaps, but Haskins has the ropes. Clever work from Haskins, getting a grip on the ropes there. Redman attempting to clutch hold of him and connect with that third back or German suplex, but couldn't quite. Haskins off the ropes, caught him. Redman catches him, holds him, hoists him up. This could be This could be that twisting brainbuster. Oh, the rotation of the knees with the extra momentum. Joel Redman puts it to bed. Haskins is beaten. No, he isn't. Oh, Redman's caught him. Redman's caught him here. A crossface. The referee says no. Haskins says no. Redman desperate. The fans cry out. Yes. Will it be victory for Joel Redman?
He's going to get the ropes. Come on,
the crowd.
The ropes. Come on.
The crowd chant tap, but he makes the ropes.
Clever man. See, that's ring smarts. That's ring awareness.
It is. Great ring awareness there from Mark Haskins. Goodness me. And he clutches on for dear life as the fans chant, "This is awesome," and they are exactly right. Oh, referee caught there. Now, a collision there. Chris Roberts looks... Yeah, Chris is in some pain. Oh no! Surely not again! Well, the most awful case of deja vu here. The low blow, the star kick. Haskins has got the opportunity to put this one away, and he's done it! Oh, that's outrageous!
Well done, Haskins! Well done! What a man!
Cheer that, Andy. How can you cheer that?
Well, I think we can finally put the thrillers to bed, finally put the thrillers away, and Mark Haskins has proved to me, you, this audience, the DVD viewing public, that Mark Haskins is the better thriller and overall the better man.